Money.
Hello and welcome to 2024's last edition of Let's Talk Money. Hope this year has been kind to you in terms of health and prosperity. Now, as we get set for 2025 and think about our financial goals, the first step to your financial wellness, even before you can start thinking about investments, actually starts with health insurance. That's where it all really begins. With medical costs spiraling, we all need to ensure that we have adequate coverage. So what have been the defining trends of 2024 when it comes to health covers and health policies? And can we hope to get even better coverage at reasonable costs in 2025? Well, joining me to answer those questions are Amit Chhabra of Policybazaar, as well as Mahavir Chopra of BeshakIN.org. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining in. First of all, season's greetings to both of you. I thought, by the end of the year, we are all in very reflective mode. We're thinking about life and our priorities. And we all, I think, agree that health has to be that number one priority for you, your family, and your loved ones. So therefore, let's start by recapping what some of the highlights have been, because the health insurance industry has been going through a fair amount of change as well. There's a lot that's going on. So first of all, welcome to the show, both of you. And if I could perhaps start with you, Amit. I mean, when you look back at the last 12 months, what comes to mind in your interaction with the health insurance companies?
I think, the one theme which can define what has happened in the last 12 months is increasing penetration of health insurance. That's been largely the theme when it comes to, whatever regulations have come in. In fact, I'll just take a step back and, look at what the regulator wants to do. So the regulator has clearly called out in every discussion that has happened in the last 1 year that the main goal is that they want to increase the penetration of insurance in the country. The vision of 2047 insurance for all is something which is, while it's been talked about a lot, the good news is it's not just good talk, it's actually become reality as well. So some of the initiatives that have happened in the last 1 year, one from the regulator side, and then the follow-up that has happened from the insurance company side as well, is clearly showing that everybody in the ecosystem wants the penetration of health insurance to increase. And if I have to just discuss some of the key initiatives that have gone in that direction. So I think the one big initiative was making health insurance available to senior citizens, right? Unfortunately, let's say 10, 20, 30 years back, nobody was buying health insurance as much. So a lot of the senior citizens are either not insured at all or they're underinsured.
Anyone up to age 99 years can seek health insurance. There's no age cap or age limit at 65 years. Mahavir, comment on this. Now, in letter, it sounds very good that you have things like this, and the other bit about how anybody who has continuous health coverage across multiple insurers for 5 years, right? That person should not be denied a health claim or a health cover. So just remind us what all has happened in letter, and the bigger question is it being followed in spirit? Mahavir.
Right. So I think the 99 years clause that we're talking about, where we've said that now insurance companies are supposed to offer plans to everyone, and it has to be widest possible cover that should be available. It's something that I have not seen a major change in. We're seeing the same plans that are offered, what were being offered previously, and earlier also there were plans which were available, which were of the age groups that were available, right? And there hasn't been any major change there. The 5 years moratorium definitely is a positive change, because it was earlier 7-8 years. For a customer, I think if the customer is very well aware and is taking care of doing the right steps, like filling the proposal form correctly, making the right declarations, now they can very, very confidently, be rest assured that after 5 years, they won't have a major problem, because of the awareness that they know that these kind of rejections cannot happen. And second, because they did the right thing of filling the proposal form correctly.
Okay, fair point. So fill the form correctly, make sure you've done all the disclosures right at the start, and chances are that you're more likely to get your claim honored. Amit, just before we move on, just recap for us all the key regulatory changes that we as customers, as policyholders, should be aware of. So if the need arises, we can really directly engage with the insurer and ask for what is our due. So just quick recap of all the major regulatory changes.
Sure. So I think apart from this age increase, I'll just probably differ in my view a bit to what Mahavir said. There are now a lot more plans than there were, let's say, a year back or 2 years back for people who are 90, 95 years of age as well. one can actually get a 1 crore sum insured at 99 days as well. So I think that's one big change. Apart from that, what the regulator has also clearly called out is that every insurance company must strive and endeavor to provide a health insurance plan to every kind of customer. So let's say if there is a customer who's had a heart surgery in the past, somebody has been a cancer survivor in the past, historically insurers would have typically shied away from these consumers. Whereas now the regulation says that one must try to provide plans as much as possible. Now, it may not happen in 100% of the cases, but the acceptance has definitely increased when it comes to consumers with pre-existing diseases. Another important regulatory change I feel that has happened is that now consumers can buy longer term policies as well. So again, historically, the maximum term that was allowed was 3 years, whereas now it can go up to 5 years as well. So now there are already a couple of companies which are offering plans up to 5 years of term as well. Why is it important is because it means that you can safeguard yourself from price increases. So typically we see that every year or every few years insurance companies increase prices. Now you can buy a longer term policy and safeguard yourself from any premium increase that may happen in the future. So it's sort of a safeguard option that's available for consumers. Another a very important thing also is now there is a maximum cap on the pre-existing disease waiting period. Earlier, this was 4 years in a lot of plans that were sold in the market. Now it cannot go beyond 3 years. So what that means is if you have diabetes or hypertension or thyroid, which is very, very common in our country, the maximum waiting period that a consumer will have to serve is 3 years. The good news is you can start coverage as soon as day one itself by buying riders or add-ons to a health insurance policy. But the maximum that you'll have to serve is 3 years. So I think these are some of the key regulatory changes that have come up in the last 1 year or so. And all of them are largely in the direction of giving more options to consumers and easier access to health insurance.
Okay, all right, folks, so got it. That's really important to understand the new regulations, the new rules of the game that we as policy buyers must be aware of. Now let's come to the other important aspect, which is rising cost. And I think there is, no argument against it. It's a fact, it's a reality that the cost of health insurance is rising steadily. I see that every time my policy comes up for renewal as well. So what exactly is the issue? Mahavir, if I could ask you first, is it just medical inflation or is it just commercial considerations? These are listed companies, many of them. Why is the cost of health insurance going up so much?
Right. So, of course, medical inflation is to be blamed because why healthcare costs are increasing, health insurance premiums will also increase. The other reasons are also very important to understand, one of which is basically the product scope has grown very significantly. Like the things that Amit just mentioned about, which is basically that waiting periods have been reduced or new conditions have been covered now by insurance companies. This basically results in an increase in premiums. Not only the regulatory changes that have happened in products, but also market changes have happened in products where products have become more competitive and they have better features than what they used to have, let's say 2 or 3 years ago. And that, of course, will have an impact on premiums also, right? So these are major reasons that why premiums increase. Apart from this, meaning the second question that you had was around will premiums keep increasing in the future? In my view, because there is a race to provide better features and better products to customers, and these features are really top of the line features, making the product more comprehensive, there is definitely a higher chance of premiums increasing further in the future than they have been increasing in the past. The only thing that could save us from increasing premiums in the future is the cashless everywhere facility that insurance companies have come together to work on, where insurance companies can negotiate better rates with hospitals and bring costs down. That is the only, I think, the positive that I see in the overall space that could help reduce prices in the long run. But apart from that, because of the market dynamics of giving better products to the customer plus healthcare inflation, both put together, I see healthcare insurance products and prices to keep increasing in the future.
Sure, that's the hard reality. In fact, let's just pull that table back up. Amit's team sent us quite a nice table on just the way cost of major surgeries and treatments has absolutely ballooned. What we're showing you is 2023. If I extrapolated back in time, pre-COVID, so cancer treatment used to cost about 26 lakhs. Now it's almost 51 lakh rupees. A heart transplant that was costing less than 18 lakhs is now costing 34. For something like a kidney transplant from about 9-10 lakhs, the cost of that surgery today is about 18 lakhs. So the cost of medical procedures has really gone through the roof. There's no denying that, especially after COVID. Amit, come in on this factor. So what does it mean for us? I mean, will costs keep going higher and higher? Can there be, Mahavir mentioned that plans are getting more comprehensive. There are lots of new features. But, give us a ballpark estimation. What does it mean for costs for, say, someone in their mid-30s? Let's talk about people who do not have pre-existing diseases right now. What can they expect in terms of the costs this year?
See, why does hospitalization become expensive? It can become expensive either because the products have become superior, as Mahavir was saying. I think that is one very, very important part of it. The other important part of it is hospitals are becoming better. So let me give you an example. Let's say if you stay in Delhi NCR and one has a heart problem, you can either go to one of the top luxury hospitals of Delhi NCR, let's say Medanta or Fortis. You can also go to some of the medium range hospitals also, which are also equally good. So you can go to a Paras hospital or an Artemis hospital as an example. The cost difference between the two is significant. So one of the things that we have seen happening in the last 1 year is what we call value for money plans being launched by multiple companies. So now the top 4 companies in the country offer what we call value for money plans, where you choose the network where you want to go to. So basically you tell the company that I won't go to the top luxury and hospitals of the country, but I'll go anywhere else, and you get a 20% discount on the premium. So by doing that, we are now seeing almost 20% of all our consumers actually taking cheaper plans than what they would have bought last year. So this is one of the methods. The other method is to take a deductible. Deductible essentially means that you pay a part of the claim when it comes, and it's a very small amount. You pay only 20,000 rupees of the claim whenever it happens. Rest everything is still funded by the insurance company, and this gives you a 20-30% discount in the premium as well. So this is again one of the ways premiums are reducing. So actually, if I look at Policybazaar data, our average premium realization per consumer hasn't really increased year on year, whereas premiums have increased. So the consumers who are facing difficulty in buying a health insurance plan because they've become expensive, buying these slightly limited plans, which are allowing them to still have medical coverage and extensive medical coverage, but choosing either to go to some certain hospitals or paying up a certain amount themselves. So short answer, premiums will increase, but there are enough and more methods available for consumers to manage that premium within their budget.
Okay, got it. I think this is a very promising point, that there is so much of innovation that you can go for these value plans. And like Amit said, they could be actually 20% cheaper. So we need to be far more nuanced than simply going and blindly buying any policy that we see in front of us. We need to ask a lot of the questions. In fact, that's exactly what we'll focus on. We'll help you navigate this complicated landscape. So if you have pre-existing diseases, what are the plans that can work for you? If you're a senior citizen, what are the plans that can work for you? All of those specifics after a short break.
Let's talk money